All right, hey everyone, Brendan Snyder, Anthony Coviello, doing a sound exchange session, but we're taking a little twist on this one. I'm gonna call it the Anthony Coviello Hour.
I had a great way to phrase it. I should have wrote it down. So the things we thought would never leave us, and the things that all of a sudden moved us that we never thought would. There was I had a creative way that the words played off each other.
Right.
It was like a sentence backwards, and
Now, we'll figure that out and use it as the title, and that way everyone will know what it is. But
I do my best work when I'm falling asleep.
That is true. I do. I was gonna say do my best work in the shower. Okay. Explain
So like
what that means. I understand that, but
all the shit you loved as a kid.
right,
Sometimes you play it now and you go, "What was I thinking?" And then when you're playing an artist that you listen to now, and you go, "What am I thinking?" I would never.
I never would have listened to that.
What? Yeah. So what happened? All the hardcore and a lot of the punk rock shit I listened to as a kid, man. I put it on now and I can't stomach it.
There's a lot of that. No effects. Nothing
Never
against
liked
the
them.
band, but I did like them back in the day. Pennywise.
Never liked them.
And but those are ones that moved.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
And
Good.
And now they don't. You know, I still like Offspring and Green
Still don't
Day.
like Offspring or Green Day.
But this is the smash or pass hour. I'll just throw out bands, and Anthony's going to be like,
Well, it's not that they're bad bands.
No, I know,
They're
you
just
just
that's not my punk rock. It was too
right.
pop for me. It was
Right.
the shitty. Let me take it back. I don't like the sound of the vocals, the whiny.
It's like pop punk.
To
Yeah,
me,
that was
it's
the
just
start
not,
of it.
It doesn't turn me on.
and it's
I know people love it. My sister loves Pennywise, and I always
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you listening to, bro? But
Yeah.
hey, man, whatever moved her. She also
Right.
liked Rancid before I did, and I love Rancid. now.
Rancid's another one. I loved Rancid back in the day. Granted, they've kind of changed their sound now. I think
They
they're
sound
a
like
little pop
they
punk.
sound like the shitty Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, I liked it better when
Shit
they
Kick
right,
Murphys.
yeah,
right.
They,
They
Irish
make
sound.
Dropkick Murphys
Music.
records all over
Right.
again, over
Right.
and
I
over.
thought it was
for the
like
last three
Flogging
records.
Molly.
Even worse.
Yeah. So those are the kind of things that I loved back then. I still have some of it in the collection. I pull it out. It doesn't really do anything to me.
I pulled out most of my hardcore.
Yeah.
I listen to it. It's not that it's bad, and I see the exuberance that I held for it somewhere buried deep in me. But when I put it on, I can't.
Do you think any of
Hear
that
it.
has to do with just the time and the era?
The era, what was cool to listen to, that was a big thing. You know, if your
Right.
friend was listening to Agnostic Front, you had to listen to Agnostic Front.
Agnostic Front's
And
another
if
one
you
of those.
if you didn't listen to Agnostic Front, but you were in the little punk rock crowd, then you were kind of like outcasts. So I'm not.
Yeah, a little bit of it I think was the time. A little bit of it, not so much peer pressure, but because everyone's listening to it. But I remember enjoying it because, and I think memories.
Because you
and
were
stuff-
fucking cool if you enjoyed it.
And
And
you're
you
a part of
probably
it.
didn't really enjoy it then.
Maybe not as much. I don't know. I felt like I did.
I still love Madball. Madball moved me live.
Yeah.
You know, I saw them. I saw
Right.
Dog Eat Dog and Life of Agony. Those
Right.
bands still to this day hold a place in my being.
Ramones
you
are that
can't
way
take
for
away.
me.
Yeah, Ramones.
I mean, I think
yes.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But that was the
Why haven't
kind of first punk band thing. My friends were listening to that stuff, and then that's when it went into all the other stuff, the hardcore and.
Why didn't the
different-
Ramones leave me?
Yeah,
Why didn't the
well,
Clash leave
that's
me?
what I
The
mean.
Clash
Why-
grows to be something I love more
Right.
and more every day.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah, I mean,
it's not singling out Agnostic Front because there's still a part of me that loves them,
Misfits.
but I put it on. I can't do it. Misfits.
Yeah.
You know what? I love the Misfits more and more as years go on.
Yeah.
Only Glenn Danzig Misfits.
Right, and I get that, but that's not that it's the same, but
The
it's
Abused
very
record,
simple,
I ate the shit out of that when
Yeah.
I was a kid.
right?
I put the Abused on now and I go, oh my god, Municipal
Right?
Waste.
Yeah.
Another band.
you can't?
It's not bad.
That's
I
when
listen to it now and I'm thinking, okay.
See, and that's one that I came to very late, and maybe not that I wouldn't have enjoyed it back then, but I mean, it's pretty hardcore thrash stuff. It's not like Testament and the other kind of thrash bands that I'll listen to. And I would say that's one that I've grown into that I absolutely am head over heels now. I'll grab anything they do. I love it.
And maybe now at our advanced ages, our
Yeah.
middle ages, I don't want to say advanced because somebody who's 60 is going to go, fuck you kids.
Right,
So,
yeah, middle age, right.
I think what I feel it is definitely, I just know what I want. Back then,
Right.
it's not that I didn't
That's
know what
true.
I want, but there was a cool factor. There was a fit-in factor. There was part of
This is
being
popular, we're listening
part
to
of
what-
the crowd factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to get.
That's true.
I used to get shit thrown at me for being a John Cougar fan. You know what? I never
But you
went
never
away
grew,
from
but
John
you never
Mellencamp.
grew out of that, right?
ever.
What we talked about.
Hey, Carrie. Yeah, so I think it's the cool factor,
Right.
And
John Mellencamp always had it.
yeah, but I never left Madonna also. So I didn't shit on the things I loved, but I picked up things that maybe I didn't love
But
enough
you-
so I could find my way.
But there's Madonna stuff today that you don't like.
And I am not embarrassed to say what I do and don't like.
Right, right. But I think,
And plus,
I mean, part of it. I mean, part of what we're talking about here is there are artists that I like, but I don't like anything.
but
maybe
that's
that they've
but
done
that's where
either.
we've hit an age
Yeah,
where we
yeah.
can say that now.
Yeah, right.
Where back then you loved everything they did,
Yeah.
even if you didn't hear it, because it's
Right.
what you had to say.
True, true.
And plus, we're going to 94, 90. Let's just say 89 to 92.
Yeah, right, right.
Where, or even 81, 89 to 92, where Madonna didn't have the shit I didn't like out then.
Yeah, no, right.
I loved everything
was-
up to 92.
Right.
Erotica came out. I loved
You
it.
still love that. That was
Loved
my
it.
where I
So
lost it.
yeah, but so then there's a line there.
Right.
So we can't talk about the stuff that inspired us then and anything after those years,
Right.
Because I don't know anything after those years at that time. That's
Right.
where my
Oh,
head
absolutely.
sits, right?
I know. All right. So artists that moves you today that you never thought you'd be listening to.
Who thought I would listen to modern pop?
Yeah,
Fucking
yes.
Dua Lipa, Taylor
Right.
Swift.
Right.
And somebody had said this morning, like, oh, well, Dua Lipa, it's because she's pretty. It's not.
Right.
I was laying in bed one night,
Uh-huh.
and I put on, there was nothing to watch. I'm like, the Elton John last concert
Okay.
from Dodger Stadium. I said, let me watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And I laid there, I was reading, and all of a sudden I heard this voice.
Right.
And it was her, and I sat up, and that's the only thing that would make her that beautiful.
Was the voice.
And I thought, I have to find out what this person
Right,
is. And so I
right.
bought her records, and I love them.
Yeah.
And they're great, man. But it has nothing to do with the way she looks. It has to do with not seeing it how it made me feel.
Sure, I get that. Adele, as an artist, I never thought I would listen to that type of music, but I heard "Rolling in the Deep." It was playing overhead. I was in a Barnes and Noble or something. I was like, "What is
Crept
this?"
in, and you're thinking, "Ooh."
I Shazammed that, and I was like, "Adele?
And
really?"
how do I now? When you first, how long ago was this?
That was at the time of that record, just after it had come out.
I
It was
have
very
no idea
pop-
what year
oh,
that is.
So
Was that the first, second, third, or fourth?
second record?
Okay, so we're
5,
pushing
6
10
years.
years.
Oh, 10 years? Yeah, I
Maybe.
don't. Right. Okay.
When that
Yeah,
came
I
out,
guess it
now
is.
was that at that time, not
Right.
right now.
Right.
Were you like slightly embarrassed, thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, I can't tell anybody"?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, this is not what I listen to. This is, I bought that album, it stayed in a closet. Not like, I wasn't so much embarrassed. It was like, it doesn't have any place on my wall.
10, 15
This is,
years ago, it was
this
the
is
same
rock,
way.
this is metal, this is glam. And I was like, I can't put Adele here.
I don't have guilty pleasures
Yeah.
anymore. It's just what
Yeah,
I like and what I
exactly.
don't like. And
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed to say what I don't
Right,
like.
right.
And a lot of the hardcore guys are
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh, fucking pussy." No,
Right.
you're a fucking pussy for calling me a fucking pussy.
Well,
This is what I
exactly. You
like.
like what you like. Rick James.
Rick
is
James,
one.
oh,
I
always
never
moved me.
thought
Loved
Super
him.
Freak. I never thought I would like that, and especially because MC Hammer had his song where he used that. But when I later heard his version of it, I was like, "This is the fucking greatest thing ever."
I dug deep with Rick James when I was a kid.
What is
Loved
that?
it.
I forget the name of that album, but that whole album that Super
Street
Freak is on. What is it?
Street songs.
Street Songs is so good. But it was one of those ones that I eyed it for so long, and I was like, no, and I would put it back. I was like, I don't listen to this. I don't listen to this, but I like it. Eventually, I had to buy it.
Yeah, my records always were outside of any box.
Right.
But there were certain things I grabbed onto because at certain times in life you fit a certain mold, you
Right.
fall into that line,
Yeah.
and then you're marching with the rest of the troops and you pick up some of those nuances of the entire troop.
Sure.
Now,
Well, yeah.
I'm out of that. And I
Right.
don't. And I'm only. This comes
Now
up now
we
because
legitimately just like what we like.
I like what I like.
We don't care what other people think.
Zero.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with if it's on the pop charts. It's on a lot.
You
Like,
fucking
oh, I
don't care.
gotta go listen to this because it's popular.
which is why I keep the collection. I'm keeping my collection liquid. I'm not ashamed to get rid of that shit.
Yeah.
My Black Flag collection is zero.
I-
I'm done.
I know
but
you
I
mentioned that.
refuse to get rid of my Henry Rollins
Yeah.
records because I freaking
That's another
love it.
band that I fell in love with, and I bought all their
Rollins
stuff.
band or Black Flag.
Oh, Black Flag. No, I'll never get rid of my Rollins band. I love my Rollins.
Yeah, man.
But the Black Flag, I kept My War, Damage, and I forget one. There's one other red cover one, and it was like the rest of it just really didn't move me. But at one time it did, you know. Oasis is a band I could not stand back in the day, and I love them now.
We had this conversation.
Yeah, but it was from the
I
solo
fight
album.
hard
Yeah,
to not.
but it was from Liam's solo album.
Liam's solo album,
which you love.
The first two.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Right, exactly, and that was the thing. I
Good
heard
records,
those,
man.
and from that I said I need more.
Still doesn't make me want to go back into Oasis. You can put that in the new arrivals, Mike.
So
Oh, I
that's
thought it might have been a special order.
Nope.
nope, no special order. I don't know, I'm trying to think of other bands that I listen to now, but recently was getting back into, I should say, No Doubt, and enjoying Gwen Stefani's voice. And I never got into the second, third, and fourth albums that she had done because they had the more modern pop and some R&B influences and things like that in it. And I just could not stand it at the time.
What's up, brother?
I went and put that on, and it moved me.
Now you realize you love that shit.
Including that sound. It
Yeah.
was perfect. And so I've been listening to a lot more pop-related stuff like that.
But country's crept into me, and it was all Chris Stapleton and
Yeah,
and Stephanie rode me
yeah.
when I started listening to Chris Stapleton and calling me a country asshole and all. And I'm thinking, I don't care.
Right.
This is that good. I'm not going to
Right.
deny it.
Who's your favorite artist right now?
Morgan Wade.
Yeah. But she classifies
She classifies as country. And I
Right,
hate saying
right.
that.
I know,
Because
but
it's
I
just
just-
too good of a record
to put it under
to
that.
put it under that, because then people are going to just turn off from it.
Yeah.
Same way saying what
It turns
Quicksand.
It turns me off from it.
The
Yeah.
last Quicksand record is
is-
so freaking
it is
good,
good.
man. Distant Populations.
Right.
But when you say, oh, it's you can't even classify Quicksand, let's
Right,
say.
but
But
didn't they
people will
used to
say
call it-
post-hardcore.
Oh, I was gonna say that's what,
hardcore. They're from the heart, and
as soon as you
will
hear
turn
that,
people off.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
Turnstiles. I love
Uh-huh.
Turnstiles.
Okay.
Is it Turnstile or Turnstiles? Whatever. They're awesome. The last record
Yeah.
they put out with the pink cover is
I'm not
it's a
familiar with them.
perfect
I'll have
record.
to check it
but
out.
they're classified as hardcore.
Okay.
We're gonna leave that pile, Mike. I have to figure out what's going. That you can file. But if you tell somebody listen to Turnstile, what is it?
Yeah.
It's hardcore. See, that's
See,
why
and
every time you
yes.
say, you're
Right.
like classify it. No,
Because it'll turn people
it's
off. You're
gonna
right.
turn people off to something that might
I need-
change their life.
Right. See, I need that to know where it falls, but you're right. If you told someone today that Quicksand was hardcore, post-hardcore, I wouldn't call them that. But that's where they come from.
Call them
that
rock and
was
roll, baby. What do you call them?
Alt rock.
All right.
It's not right. It's not Tom Petty. So I call Tom Petty rock.
That's why I
and
call it
roll.
all rock and roll.
I know. But you call Black Sabbath rock and
I
roll.
call Black Sabbath rock and
it's
roll.
not.
I'm not gonna get into it. It's not
Right.
metal.
But if you told someone that Black Sabbath was rock and roll and they were expecting Tom Petty, that's a turnoff when they would hear it, right? So it's not really letting someone know.
Or
what
maybe
it
it's a
is.
surprise.
That could be, right?
If they say, well, give me better, I'll say, why don't you give me better
Right.
when you listen to it?
Tom Petty, Damn the Torpedoes would be a great first album for someone to buy from our last video when we talked about that. No? I know you still think go back, all the way back.
Well, because
but I
Damn
just think-
Torpedoes is hit after hit after hit after hit. So
I
what are you
love
going to do?
the
It's just a
opening
giant
of,
hit.
of Refugee on that. Anyway, that was a little side convo from our previous discussion. So yeah, I don't know. It's you guys weigh in on this, but certainly interesting how things we listen to today we never would have growing
Yeah.
up, and there are stuff that we grew up with that we were head over heels with at the time that we've grown out of.
And this ties into all of our videos because
Yeah.
the cool factor in rock. Sometimes the cool factor is what you feel you have to listen to. You
Yeah.
know what the coolest thing is?
Yeah, all my friends
Listening
have
to
it.
what moves you.
Right.
Who gives a shit?
And I think that's where we call it musical taste changing. And they do change and evolve. But I also think
Maybe
that
it's developing.
it's developing, or it's getting to a point where you don't care what anyone thinks and you just like what you like.
Yeah.
And so whereas you steer clear of disco and whatever this other stuff is, and now all of a sudden
Now
you're
it tickles
buying
your
it.
fancy.
Yeah, that's right. And you're putting it in your collection and you're thinking to yourself, man, I never would have listened to this as a kid. But I'm thinking to myself, I never would have listened to this as a kid because I'd have gotten made fun of.
Yep.
Right?
Crank it and dance and sing like nobody's watching you.
Yeah.
And hope that people are watching you and they do the same.
Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. If that comes on, I have to crank it up and dance to it. I don't
It's awesome.
give a fuck
Yes.
what anyone thinks. That is a great, fun, happy, exciting song.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, I mean,
So basically, don't give a fuck and listen to what you like and enjoy it.
yeah.
And be open to all those things that you're hearing now that you like, even if you're thinking that doesn't have a place in my collection. Right?
Who cares?
If you right, who cares?
Because you can, if it doesn't have a place later, move it.
Well, you make a place now, right? And as you kind of say, it's just all good music, right? Maybe
Good music is subjective.
Maybe don't have genres. Maybe don't break your stuff, into sections the way I do. If that's going to be the defining factor that prevents you from getting into something, you can't put your Adele next to your, I don't know.
Anthrax, yes,
Yeah,
you
your
can.
Anthrax. Thank you. I was
Yes,
like, I
you
needed.
can.
You can. You absolutely can. Right? Wow, Adele next to Anthrax. Ah,
You got-
I
I mean,
can't
you-
do it. I can't do
You got to
it.
see my W's.
But I have
My
created.
W's are insane.
But I have created a pop box of all that kind of stuff that's in there. And I've got Neil Diamond. I've got some Tupac in there. I've got Michael Jackson.
My
I've
only
got
difference next to
ABBA.
soundtracks is that my favorite.
Right.
And I think Morgan Wade is going up top
Right.
now, next to my Mother Love Bone,
Yeah.
and my Soundgarden, and my Doors,
Yeah.
and my Blondie, my Dirty Heads. She's gonna fit.
She's gonna fit right there.
She has to.
Well, see, this is going to be interesting. In a few years, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to see if the follow-up albums have held your interest, or maybe it was just those first couple albums, and is she still at the top of that?
It's just one.
We don't know, right?
Yeah.
But that'll be
No.
interesting. That'll be interesting to see. And I can't stand the latest Adele album. Complete, absolute turn-off to me. So I don't know what she'll do following that. Will I still be a fan of her going forward? Who knows?
But just being able to open up and be an Adele fan is going to allow you for the next new thing.
That's
to,
right.
To creep in and not to be a shock.
Exactly.
Be able to just say, "Wow, I like this. What
That's
is
right.
this? I'm going to get it." Not oh shit, and then you feel you have to hide behind the bush and not show your face.
And that's the best part about music. Is just be open. Just accept it. If you like it, like it. Doesn't matter what people are going to say. Who cares? Tell them to fuck off.
Tell them to fuck off.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.